What if I told you that right now, in a factory in Shenzhen, China, a robot is watching a human worker, learning every single movement, and within 72 hours, doing that job faster, more precisely, and without ever needing a break? No coffee, no sick days, no salary, and it never, ever complains. This isn't a Black Mirror episode. This isn't a Elon Musk fever dream. This is China in 2024, and what they have built will not just change the economy, it will change what it means to be human. Today, I'm going to take you deep inside China's humanoid robotics revolution. We're talking about machines that don't just walk and talk, they think, they adapt, they feel pressure through their fingertips, and in some cases, they look so disturbingly human that your brain refuses to accept what your eyes are seeing. By the end of this video, you won't just be impressed, you'll be asking yourself a question that has no comfortable answer. What happens to us when they become better at being human than we are? Stay with me, because what's coming at number 1 will genuinely keep you up at night. To understand why China's humanoid robots are different, you need to understand the moment everything shifted. For decades, China was the world's factory floor. Cheap labor, massive scale, low cost. The whole global economy was built on the assumption that Chinese workers would always be the most cost-effective option for manufacturing anything from iPhones to running shoes. But something happened that nobody in the West fully predicted. China's population started aging fast. The one-child policy created a demographic cliff that is now arriving in real time. Fewer young workers, a rapidly growing elderly population, and labor costs rising year after year. So China did what China always does when facing an existential challenge. It didn't adapt. It didn't negotiate. It decided to engineer its way out of the problem entirely. The Chinese government launched a state-backed initiative to dominate humanoid robotics by 2030, not just to compete with Boston Dynamics or Tesla, to leapfrog them entirely. Billions in government funding, dozens of companies racing simultaneously, an ecosystem of universities, military labs, and private startups, all pointed at the same target. The result? A wave of humanoid robots so advanced, so diverse, and so strategically designed that the rest of the world is only now beginning to wake up to what is happening. Let's meet the machines. We start with raw, brutal performance. The Unitree H1 is China's answer to every robotics benchmark that has ever existed, and it answers all of them with one message: we are faster and we are here. This robot weighs 47 kilograms. It runs at 3.3 meters per second, but the number that will blow your mind is this: 360 Newton meters of torque generated by its proprietary M107 joint motors. For context, that is more rotational force than most industrial machines operating on factory floors right now. But raw torque is nothing without control. What makes the H1 terrifying is its dynamic balance system. Engineers at Unitree built a feedback loop so fast that the robot can receive a hard shove, a kick, even a deliberate push from multiple directions simultaneously, and correct its posture in milliseconds, not seconds, milliseconds. The moment that went viral and genuinely stunned the global robotics community was when the H1 performed a backflip, a full, clean, controlled backflip using nothing but electric motors. No hydraulics, no tricks, pure engineering. Boston Dynamics spent years perfecting that movement with Atlas. Unitree did it with a robot that costs a fraction of the price, and then they put the price online for anyone to see, almost as if they were daring the competition. The H1 is not designed to sit in a research lab. It is designed to be deployed at scale, immediately. And that distinction is everything.
Now let's talk about something that hits closer to home, literally. While the H1 is built for performance, the Fourier Intelligence GR1, developed right in Shanghai, was built for one of the most human of all purposes, caring for people who can no longer care for themselves. China has a demographic crisis on its hands. By 2050, 400 million Chinese citizens will be over the age of 60. The healthcare system cannot absorb that number. There are not enough nurses, not enough caregivers, not enough hands. The GR1 was built to be those hands. Here's what makes this robot remarkable. It has actuators capable of 50 Newton meters of torque concentrated in specific joints, giving it the ability to lift 50 kilograms of dead weight. That is the average weight of an elderly person who needs to be moved from a bed to a wheelchair. The robot can do it cleanly, safely, and without straining a single back muscle because it does not have one. But brute strength in a caregiving context is actually dangerous if it's not paired with precision, and the Fourier engineers understood this completely. The GR1's hip and leg design directly mimics human biomechanical weight transfer. The way it shifts its center of gravity when carrying a load is modeled on how Olympic athletes are trained to move heavy objects without injury. The result is a robot that is simultaneously strong enough to lift a person and gentle enough to assist with rehabilitation exercises where even a single degree of incorrect joint angle could cause harm. Think about what this means at a societal level. Families who cannot afford full-time care, rural communities with no hospital for 50 miles, overnight care situations where one exhausted nurse is responsible for 30 patients. The GR1 doesn't replace human compassion, but it solves the physical impossibility of one person being everywhere at once. Now we leave the world of utility and enter something that operates in a completely different dimension of unsettling. In Dalian, China, a company called X Robots is doing something that the robotics industry doesn't fully know how to talk about yet. They are not building robots that work better. They are building robots that look at us perfectly, completely, disturbingly. The process starts with 3D scanning of real human faces, not approximations, not artistic interpretations. Actual human beings sit in a scanning chair, and their faces are digitally mapped down to the microtexture of their pores. That data is then used to fabricate a silicone skin of medical-grade quality, the same material used in reconstructive surgery that is stretched over a mechanical skull with a precision fit that eliminates any visible seams. But here is where it stops being impressive and starts being something else entirely. Beneath that skin sits a network of micromotors, over 20 individual actuators, each one controlling a specific group of facial muscles. These motors are so small and so precisely calibrated that they can replicate the involuntary micro-expressions that humans produce without even thinking. The slight tension around the eyes when processing a difficult question, the asymmetric pull of the cheek when a smile is genuine versus performed, the barely perceptible tremor of the lip before speech begins. X robots humanoids can frown, they can raise a single eyebrow, they can simulate the chest movement of breathing so convincingly that when seated behind a reception desk in business attire, multiple people in documented tests walked past them and said hello before realizing they were not speaking to a living person.
That pause, that 2-second delay before your brain overrides the signal your eyes sent it and says, wait, something is wrong. That is called the uncanny valley. And X Robots has found a way to vault straight over it. These robots are currently being deployed in museums, in hotel lobbies, and in customer service environments across China. And the reports from people who have interacted with them describe something difficult to articulate. Not horror exactly, something quieter and more persistent. A feeling that a line has been crossed and that you cannot quite locate where it was.
Now here is what most Western coverage of Chinese robotics completely misses. The conversation always focuses on the physical robots, the joints, the motors, the skin. But the real competition isn't happening in the body, it's happening in the mind. China has quietly built one of the most sophisticated AI development ecosystems in the world, backed by state investment, free from many of the regulatory debates slowing Western AI companies, and fed by an unprecedented volume of industrial and behavioral data. Chinese AI labs are developing control systems for humanoid robots that are changing the fundamental logic of how robots learn. Traditional robotics requires programmers to write explicit instructions for each task. Turn left here, grip with this much force, stop when you detect this obstacle. This approach works, but it is fundamentally limited. The robot can only do what it has been told to do. The moment something unexpected happens, it fails. Chinese robotics companies are now deploying what researchers call end-to-end neural learning. Instead of programming a robot to do a task, you show it the task repeatedly. The robot's cameras feed visual data directly into a neural network that learns not just the mechanical movements required, but the underlying logic of why those movements are being made, the intention behind the action. What this creates is a robot that can generalize. A robot that has learned to pour water can, without additional programming, figure out how to pour a different liquid into a different container at a different angle, because it understands pouring as a concept, not as a rigid sequence of movements. When this intelligence layer is combined with hardware as capable as the H1 or the GR1, you stop getting robots. You start getting something else. Something that doesn't have a clean category yet. Let's be honest about what is actually at stake here, because the breathless excitement around these machines needs to be grounded in a reality that millions of people are going to live through. China currently has approximately 200 million manufacturing workers. These are human beings whose entire economic existence is built on the assumption that their labor has value that a machine cannot replicate. That assumption is now structurally incorrect, and the timeline for when it stops being theoretical and starts being someone's unemployment notice is measured in years, not decades. Chinese manufacturers are already replacing assembly line workers with early-generation humanoid robots in electronics factories. The robots do not perform as well as a human worker yet, but they are 60 to 70% there. They never sleep, they work 3 shifts without overtime, and they improve automatically as their neural networks continue learning. At 70% capability with 0 labor cost, the math already favors the machine. The Chinese government is aware of this. There are internal policy discussions about managed transitions, retraining programs, new categories of human work that will emerge as robotic labor handles the repetitive and physical. But policy discussions and economic reality operate on very different timelines. And history tells us that when technological disruption hits a labor market at scale, the policy almost always arrives too late and benefits too few. The West is watching this unfold with a mixture of competitive anxiety and self-satisfaction, as if this is a Chinese problem. It is not. The factories that China automates will outproduce, underprice, and outdeliver every human labor competitor in every market in the world. The disruption does not stay inside Chinese borders. It ships out in every container that leaves a Chinese port. And now we arrive at the question that all of this has been building toward. Because the individual robots are impressive, the AI systems are impressive, the scale and speed of China's investment are impressive. But the thing that will genuinely change humanity forever isn't any single machine. It is what happens when all of it converges. Right now, China's leading humanoid robotics companies are in active collaboration with each other, with government AI labs, and with military research institutions. They are not building robots in isolation. They are building toward a unified platform, a standardized humanoid body with interchangeable intelligence systems, mass manufactured at a scale that brings the unit cost down to the equivalent of a mid-range automobile. When that happens, the humanoid robot stops being a research project. It stops being a tech demonstration at a trade show. It becomes a product that any business, any hospital, any government, any household can purchase and deploy for a specific function within 24 hours of delivery. And here is the part that no one in the mainstream conversation has properly confronted yet. At that point, humans are not competing with a single robot doing a single task. Humans are competing with an infinitely scalable workforce that gets smarter every day, costs less every year, and never asks for anything in return. The question of what work means, the question of what value means, the question of what humans are for in an economic sense, all of that gets forced into a crisis simultaneously. Not gradually, not hypothetically, actually. China is not building these robots to win a technology competition. China is building these robots to solve its own demographic and economic problems. But the solution it is building is so powerful that it will reshape the problem for every other country on the planet, whether they are ready or not. The line between tool and entity has always been clear. A hammer does not decide how to swing. A calculator does not choose what to calculate. But a humanoid robot with end-to-end neural learning that can adapt, generalize, improve, and interact, that machine is operating in territory that our philosophy, our law, our economy, and our psychology are completely unprepared for. China isn't waiting for the world to be ready. The robots are already on the factory floor. The robots are already in the lobbies. The robots are already learning your face, modeling your movements, and preparing to step into every role that human labor has ever filled. The only question left is the one I want to leave you with today. When the machine can do everything you can do, better than you can do it, at a fraction of the cost, what do you become? Think about that carefully, because China already has an answer, and they're building it right now. If this video made you think differently about what's coming, and I genuinely believe it should, hit that like button and subscribe, because this is not a one-time story. This is an ongoing transformation that we are going to track together every step of the way. The future isn't coming, it's already being assembled, and we'll be here to show you every piece of it. See you in the next one.